Hi my dears, it is Anne here, and this month we are going to do some Halloween things. First thing I'm going to show you guys is this tutorial is going to be a quick one about doing a twisty in borosilicate for the pumpkin top. Okay, so I just have two green colors. One is sparkly green, and then the other one is an opaque lighter green. So I wanted two different colors. You'll see I'm just working on my inner flame with this because I'm going to work small. I don't want to work really big. I just need a little bit for this pumpkin. And what I'm going to do is attach a puntee, because this is a just a short piece of Boro. And the Boro color is fairly expensive. I just want to, as a disclaimer, I am not a Boro worker. I have taken a couple of classes in Boro, and I enjoy working with it whenever I can figure out when I have enough time to actually play with it. So all I'm going to do is what I would do if I were working with soft glass. So you can do this portion in soft glass as well, no problem. And you would just choose two different colors of your soft glass in green. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to make a line with my Boro down one side, and then I'm going to do 25 quarter, I guess a quarter of it. I'm going to turn it a quarter turn and then put another line of my opaque green on my sparkle green, and then turn it another quarter of a turn, and that should give me 4 lines of this opaque green, roughly the same distance apart. Okay, so just four lines. This is just making a twisty. That's all I'm doing. Is quick and easy. It's just going to be the stem for my pumpkin that I'm going to do a blown pumpkin with Boro. I will at some point this year be doing some instruction on figuring out how to blow hollows with soft glass, but for this particular one, it's just so much easier in borosilicate that this is what I have time to do. So now I'm just going to melt these two together. And Boro takes a lot of heat. For all you girls and guys who have not worked with Boro at all, you can usually find shorts and stuff, and then all you would have to do would be to buy the what's it called, the tubing, the clear tubing. You don't need a whole lot of color to make beautiful Boro things, because you do a lot of it on the clear tubing. You can make pendants and all sorts of fun things. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just heating this up really good so that those two meld in, those 4 stripes, sorry, language is not my friend this morning, melt into the base green that I have. And you just are going to superheat it. Get those nice and ripping hot and melded together. Otherwise you're going to have raised lines, which is fine. If that's the look you're going for, that's fine. And then I'm going to take it out and I'm going to twist. And with Boro, you have to twist a little faster because it seizes up quicker. And you don't tend to get quite as long of a piece as you would if you were working in soft glass. Okay, so now I have a nice little twisty. That's going to be my my stem for my cute little pumpkin that I'm going to make. All right, so next up, what you'll need is a tubing, It can be big, it can be small. This one happens to be, I have no earthly idea how big. I don't think it's an inch, maybe a 1/2 inch tubing, and it's not super thick walled, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to add additional color to it. And for that I have North Star Lava. Don't ask me why, this is just orange, so that was what I was going for. My tubing, and that has been sitting around for quite some time. My Boro has been sitting around for quite some time. I have not had a whole lot of time to spend on it. But you'll need the same kind of tools as you would need if you were working in soft glass. The problem with soft glass is it doesn't have this tubing to give you quick and easy blowing ability. But what I'm going to do is, I don't want a clear pumpkin, I want it to be orange, so I'm going to stripe on color. I have to get my tubing a little warm so that it will accept this color, and then I want to get my color nice and ripping hot, and I'm going to stripe it on. And I'm just going to go around this whole thing striping on my color. And then once I get it all on there, then my tubing is going to be nice and thick, because it's now got not only that layer of clear, it's got a layer of color. So I should be able to blow this out to a, you know, it's not going to be a huge pumpkin, but it'll be a decorative little pumpkin I can put on my sideboard or something. So I'm about halfway around, maybe not halfway, maybe a third of the way around. I took, taken a few classes in borosilicate. It's a fun glass to play with. It takes a little bit of learning, especially if you started in soft glass, because you don't want to spend a lot of money on your glass, so you have to learn kind of how to use the clear glass, because it's a lot cheaper than the colored glass in the Boro. Like in soft glass we have a few silver glasses that are $100+ a pound, but in Boro that's most of the glass. Most of the colored is 100. I got most of my Boro acquisition from a studio buyout local to me. A fellow was stopping his glass art, and he wanted to sell it, and a whole group of girls that I used to work at the Lorton Workhouse with, we all went in and purchased all of his studio together, and kind of each one of us got what we wanted out of it, which was good for him and it was good for us. Okay, so now I have that whole end of my tubing nice and colored. Now I'm going to get it to be homogenized, as it were. Get it all together, heat it up, and with soft glass we spin around a lot, but with Boro it's a different mindset. You have to spend a lot of time in one spot to get it hot enough to actually meld together. So you spend that time and meld it together, and then you move on to the next spot. And if it gets out of control, it takes a lot for it to get out of control, but unlike soft glass. So you just take a minute, heat up one area, get it nice and hot till it starts to move. And then move on to your next area. And for me, that seems, with this particular flame that I've got going here, to be about 2 stripes of my color. And the nice thing about Boro is that even though it gets a little chilled, it's not going to crack on you as easily as a soft glass would. I think that's why tubing hasn't really made its way into soft glasses, because it would crack all the time unless you were keeping it hot continuously. So again, I'm just going one little bit by one little bit, trying to get all that color belted in. And now I've gone all the way around my tube here, and I've flattened it out. I think the rest of it will flatten out just fine with as I move along. So now I'm heating the end of this because I need to now make this tubing have a closed end. So that's what I'm doing now, is I'm just heating that end bit. And kind of rolling it down till it meets. Slow and steady, that's the thing with Boro, is nothing is quick. It takes a bit of time for anything that you do. The soft glass were a little bit more into instant gratification, but the problem with that is then you also have to have really good heat control. Okay, so I'm almost to having a tip there, but I have some clear that's peeking through, so I don't want to have that. So right now I'm going to work on picking this down into a point with my tweezers. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now that should be about to completely covered with the orange like I wanted. It's probably going to end up being the top of my pumpkin. We'll see how it blows out for me. The other thing that you're going to need when you're working with Boro are these diamond shears. It's when I'm done and I want to cut this, it's easier if you have these diamond shears. When you're working with tubing, you can either buy a attachment a blow hose, which I do happen to have, but it's not going to fit on this particular tubing that I have, so I'm going to have to use my mouth, which is fine. I just needed to make sure that this edge of my piece of glass, it doesn't have any sharpness to it. So in order to do that, you can prepare your glass by heating up the rim that you're going to blow on so that it doesn't have any sharpness to it. Of course, you have to make sure that it's completely cooled off before you go using it as your blow area. This is going to take forever if I use only my inner flame, so I'm going to go ahead and turn on my outer flame. I use a Carlisle Hellcat. It has a nice bushy flame, which is why I like it. I do Marini a lot, so you need to have a wide area that you can use, and this one does. So I'm heating this up until this whole thing, this whole colored area is super duper hot. I don't want there to be any color differentiations here of this orange, because if I do, then what's going to happen is that area isn't, if it's a darker color, isn't going to blow out as well as the other areas. So it all has to be evenly hot. And this is also melting in that orange even more completely, so I don't have to worry about it having different layers or different levels, thicknesses. That's the word. Okay, so this is nice and hot. You can see how orange it is. Now I'm going to give it a second. Okay, that's the starting blow. So it looks kind of like a lemon now. Heat that back up. Getting it all even again, and then I'm going to try and give it another blow. There we go, it's getting bigger. You see it? It's getting bigger. I don't want it to be huge. Like I say, I'm not going for a enormous pumpkin. I just want it to make something I could put on my desk for Halloween. It all evenly heated again. I'm going to bring it up here and blow. You can see each time it's getting a little bit bigger. And it's still got plenty of thickness to work with here. It all evenly heated again. Like I say, borosilicate is slow working. You gotta spend time with this kind of glass. You gotta get it ripping hot all the time. Get it to stick to each other. You gotta heat it up. It's really hot for it to move. Okie dokie. I think that's about as big as I'm getting that little guy. So what I need to do is I need a punty. I'm going to use that punty that I puntied up with previously. with my green, and I'm going to use that to punty up the top of my pumpkin here so that I can cut off the base, this blow hose, the blow tube. And in order to punty, when you're working with glass, is soft glass or Boro, is you want to get it where it actually touches to be as small of an area as possible. So what I'm doing is I'm rolling it on a marver to get it to be pointy. Another way you can do it would be to heat it and then pull it out as well, and that would get it a little pointier. I had a piece of shmeg on there, so I wanted to get that off before I did that. So it looks like kind of a pencil tip. And you can see my orange blown pumpkin here. And I see that kind of that little nipple there where it was poking out, where I had done the initial pulling of it together to pull it down into a point. Now what I'm doing is I'm heating where the color and the tubing, the clear, are, and I'm going to pull that down. And give it a hole. I want to have a hole so that it has air in there. Hold on. Just trying to get it to punty up without being too hot of a seal. And then I've got to heat up that area again so that I can pull this blow hose off, blow tube off. Get that out of my way. I needed to pop that hole, otherwise it was going to try and implode on itself. And I wasn't ready for it to be completely closed off just yet. So I'm going to work on getting some of this clear removed. And when you're working with to get the clear removed from the base here, you can either use a piece of clear glass, which is probably easier, or you can have a bowl of water that you just keep dunking your glass down into. I did not prepare myself properly, so I did not have my glass quench, my quenching glass of water ready. So here we go. I am going to go ahead and leave this open on the bottom, because if you're not careful when you're closing, you should always leave some sort of air hole with Boro. So mine is actually going to just be the bottom of my pumpkin. And now I'm going to make indentations in the pumpkin. So I'm going to heat an area, a line, and I'm going to use my magic wand here, and I'm just going to kind of roll a indentation. Then I'm going to go to the next area that I want to put a indentation in, heat it up, and then roll it kind of down. Go to the next area, get it nice and ripping hot, and just giving it a little bit of a indent. And then one more. Okay, so now my little pumpkin has indents all the way around it. And what I want to do is punty it up again in a different area so that I can put my my top on with that twisty that I made. So I'm going to take this punty off, and I'm going to hook it on down underneath here. It's not going to be on center because I have done this pumpkin with the bottom being open. So I don't really have a center for it to hold on to. I did it off to the one side, and I did it a little too loose, a cold seal. So in order for this to work for what I need to do right now, I'm going to do it a little bit of a more closer to a hotter seal. Okay, and now this is my little twisty that I had made, and I'm going to get these two to really love each other. But before I do that, I'm actually going to heat up this pumpkin because I want it to kind of have a crevice up on top here where I'm putting my twisty. So I'm going to heat up that top really, really hot, and heat up my just the tip of my twisty there. There we go. And then I'm going to push it down. So that way I made a little crevice in there. And now to heat the two of them together well enough that they're going to stay, I'm actually going to decorate a little bit by heating up both where I want to put it and my piece of twisty here. And with Boro, you'll find that you can draw pretty easily with it because it takes a little bit more to melt. So you can have that heat right there on it, and it heats nicely for you. Lets you decorate a little bit better. So now I'm going to heat where I want to put it, and I'm going to shove it in there. Kind of make that around a little bit, and then I'm going to nip it with my nippers here so that it keeps a little stem on there. heat that up. And there is my little pumpkin. Now for him to stay safe, I want to put him into the kiln. I'm just going to heat him up so that if there was any little spot that was hot, there he is. And I'll take him out of the kiln tomorrow and show you guys how he turned out. And like I say, I don't claim to be a borosilicate worker, so that is the best I can do with Boro. It was fun to do, it's fun to try. I don't think I'll ever give up soft glass to go to Boro working, but I do enjoy doing it every now and again. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I'll show you guys what it looks like tomorrow. Bye.